Hey everybody, Unstable Gamer here, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. I've got some awesome beginner's tips for you, and no, it's more than just use all your energy and do all your dailies. There's some really cool stuff here, so let's go ahead and jump into it. But first, before we do, if you're just now finding this channel and you want to stay up to date with this and other games, consider hitting that subscribe button so you don't miss out. All right, and welcome back. So let's go ahead and jump into this. I jokingly said this isn't about using your energy and doing your dailies. Obviously, all that stuff is important, but there's a lot in this game that you can do that's going to help you start out strong and move quick and grow your team more efficiently, and that's really what these tips are all about. So let's go ahead and start with summons. If you go down to draw and over to featured, when you use gems to do draws, definitely do the 10 draws, not the single draw. And the reason why is because of the stamps. You get stamps for 10s, you don't get stamps for singles. Again, why that's important is if you click on details over here, you have a stamp card. As you do 10 draws, you get a certain number of stamps. And those stamps are going to give you these rewards here. So I've seen anywhere between 1 and 3 stamps per 10 draw. There could be more. I typically get a lot of 1s. But there's a lot of great rewards in here that's going to help you build your team up, level up your gear. I mean, there's a lot of stuff for progression in this game. Leveling up your character, leveling up your weapons, leveling up your materia. There's a lot to do in this game as far as progression goes. So definitely save for the 10 draws. Next is going to be combat. There's a couple things I want to point out in combat. So let's go ahead and jump into a battle. Go over here. Let's go enhancement quest, jump into weapon quest. This is a resource dungeon that's going to allow you to collect resources to level up your gear. So let's do, I don't know. Let's not go overly long. Let's just do this. Now, when you go in here, a couple things. Number one, recommended party. I recommend that you use that. And the reason for that is because it's set up very well to recommend the best characters and the best materia. It's going to reset things up based on the needs of the dungeon. Down here, you see recommended 14,800. Plus, you see those sigils under there. And these icons under here is going to tell you what you need to bring into that dungeon to be more effective. And if I hit recommend party, I may already have them, but I'm at 26,779. If I hit it, I go down a little bit because now you see that third one, that very first of the 3 boxes, is now met. So now I have a more efficient ability to use in the dungeon. So definitely use recommended party. It works out well. The next part is going to be the ×3. Once you finish a battle for the first time, you're going to have an opportunity to use ×3. I like this option here because instead of skip tickets and instead of doing multiple farming, which you still have to do a lot of farming, but this allows you to spend 3 times the energy to get 3 times the reward. So 1 run is the same as running 3. It's definitely more efficient. I like that. All right, so I am going to do the ×3. We're going to do start. The third one in here, the third part under combat really comes into play when you talk about your limit breakers. When you're in here, more often than not, you're going to use your auto. Auto is very, very good in this game. It selects the appropriate abilities. It switches you between attack and defense abilities. It just does everything very, very well for you. So there's really no reason not to do it. Maybe later on with major boss battles and things, maybe I picked something too easy. Later on with boss battles and things like that, more difficult things, maybe we'll want to do something a little bit more manual. But this works really, really well right now. And even in where I am in the game, I'm player level 14. In here, when it comes to limit breakers, what you want to do is use your 3 limit breakers all at the same time. And the reason for that is that's going to increase the amount of damage that you do. You can do up to 1.25% more damage on your limit breakers. Now here, with Tifa, usually I'll do her limit breaker right off the bat when it comes up. I'll hold off this time. Hopefully I don't kill them first. But because by using hers as soon as it comes up, it's ready by the time Barrett and Cloud's limit breakers come up. All right, so we just got them interrupted. We'll go ahead and take out that first one. Barrett's about ready. All right, so now we'll go ahead and do all 3 limit breakers. And you're going to see the battle damage increase. You want to select them pretty quickly. Not too quickly. It's not, you don't have to do it all within a second. But you can see the additional damage. You can see the 1.25 damage bonus there. And these animations are great. I love this game's and what they've done with the animations and the art. it's a lot of back and forth between old school and new school, and it's really, really cool. All right, so that's the combat. That's the combat. Those are the tips that I have for combat. Next are Chocobos. There are Chocobos in the game, and it's very, very cool. So let's go ahead and jump over there really quick. Down to our Chocobos. Now, Chocobos, this is kind of, for me, this is a little bit of a cross between your typical idle mechanic where you're gaining resources over time. It's a chest, the back of a truck, different types of things, right? It's an idle mechanic, but it's also a dispatch mechanic. So they've combined that, and I think it's kind of cool. So if you go into expeditions here, the next tip is get all 3 of your stalls unlocked. You're going to need 3 Chocobos, so you're going to do that first one for a little bit until you get enough currency to purchase a couple other Chocobos. You don't always have to, don't save for the most expensive one. Just get all 3 of them filled because you're going to be able to get quite a bit of resources by filling them. Also, make sure when you have an opportunity, use these Choco boosters. That really helps collect the resources, right? So here, I'll just do it right now. 3 should, oh no, 2 is going to clear it. We'll confirm that. Boom. Let's do this one here as well. I think I need 5. Nope, 2 is going to clear that one also. Boom. How about this one? Do I have enough to like get all of them? I do. Boom, we'll do that. There's no real reason to hold on to those. Definitely use them when you have them. I usually hold off until I have enough that's going to complete it, but here's all the different resources and everything you get, right? So when you do these, the reason why it's a combination of dispatch and the resource gathering that an idle game has is because you're going to select a Chocobo and a character with that Chocobo to go on the expedition, and while they're out there on the expedition, they're gaining resources for you. So I've got all 3 of them. These are all the rewards that I'm getting from all 3. I am now that I have all 3, I am saving for the most expensive Chocobos that there are. Let's go ahead, okay on that. But again, the reason why I say it's an idle mechanic is because they just keep going. They don't go out and come back, and then you got to redeploy them. They just stay deployed. You just continually go in and collect the resources. So definitely unlock all 3 Chocobos. It does take some gems. Next is materia crafting. You definitely want to unlock all the slots available for materia crafting because materia crafting becomes very, very valuable to your team, increasing the effectiveness of your spells and your abilities, right? So if we go in here, we'll go into Enhance and Synthesis, and we've got 5 slots here. You start out with 1 or 2. I think you start out with 2. The next one is like 50 or 100 gems. Overall, I think it's a few hundred gems to unlock all of them. It's definitely worth it because you're going to be synthesizing a lot so that you can get your best materia crafted. So it's very random. When you create your materia, you don't know what star level, you don't know what rarity, you don't know what stats you're going to get with it. So you're going to be crafting a lot of materia. So the more slots that you have to craft, so like you fill them all with fire, gotta get like a 3 star out of 5, right? I don't know. But I've gotten a lot of 2 stars. I've got 1 3 star. So you're going to be doing a lot of crafting, so it's going to definitely help you to get all of your available slots unlocked so that you can keep up with that. Next is gems. Typically in these types of games, gems are best used to refresh energy. Now I'm going to pull back on that, and the reason is because if I go into energy, so this energy system is 1 energy every 6 minutes, and you get a lot of this stamina tonic. I've got 39 of it. 1 restores 50. You can use 50 crystals to restore 100 energy. I have not used crystals for energy at all. It's all been, well, first, I got a stream coming up, so I'm saving a lot of them for ×10 draws just to play on the stream. But I also use them to unlock all the Chocobo stalls and the slots for the materia synthesis. So use those stamina tonics. Use that energy absolutely last. And actually, I would hold off and save as much gems as you can because we don't know what's coming up next, right? So just use the gems that you need. I wouldn't use them on energy right off the bat. Definitely use them for your Chocobos and your materia. All right, next, best teams. In these kind of games, it's always great to see what are the best teams to use. Seriously, in this, the best teams to use are the story teams right now. So if you go in here, I'm going to select one. Now, the reason why I say story teams are best to use is obviously they're used through the storyline. You can change it, actually. So right now, I can use story party or I can go to free party. The reason why story party is the best team to use is because you have this bonus right here. for using that party. So you want to use your story party so that you can get the most rewards out of the game, so you don't have to go back and redo everything. Also, if you're curious about these icons here, the book means if you got one that's just the book, like underneath, that's all story. If you got the book and the crossed swords, you're going to see some story and you're going to do some combat. If you see all three, that last one means you're going to do some exploring. You're going to be walking around a map. You're going to be collecting chests, things like that. So that's what those three icons mean, so that when you go into a combat or into a chapter or a section, you know exactly what you're going to need to do. So definitely for now, stick with story teams. Maybe later on that's going to change with more difficult events, boss battles, things like that. But right now, the best teams are really to use the story teams. Next is going to be explore. So that last icon there where you go in and explore, there's also dungeons where you can revisit chapters that you've been into and do some exploring. Explore as much as possible. There's false walls. There's paths that you don't recognize or don't see very well. Go down, fill out the map, explore every corner of the map, because there's a lot of chests to be picked up and found, which is going to give you just a lot of resources. All right, everybody, that's what I had for you. Those are the tips I have for the game. These are early game tips that's going to help you start out strong, move fast, and build your roster quickly so you can move through all the content in the game. I'm loving it. I'm having a blast with it, and I hope these tips help you out. All right, everybody, as always, I want to thank you all for taking the time to watch the video. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button and share your thoughts and questions in the comments section below. Take care, everybody, and we'll talk to you next time.